Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you feeling? It is very hot. Could this be the first panel where we all stand instead of sit?
I don't know about that one. A little too
No?
hot to stand.
Okay. Well, we want to have a little bit of fun with you all, but let me first start off by saying happy Juneteenth. It's really interesting. Last year when we were on the panel together, Mello, it was also Juneteenth. We could make this, a thing.
I love that idea.
Celebrate freedom
My
together.
voice is a little raspy, so work with me. It's been a long week. A lot of meetings, a lot of panels, a lot of heat.
A lot of parties.
A lot of water. No parties, a lot of water.
Sure. Right. All right, well, let's jump into it. So the first question is for you, Kyle. Why did partnering with Casa del Sol Tequila feel like a natural step for you? And how does it reflect who you are off the court?
That's a great question. I think that why I partnered, one, is because I love tequila. I love to drink, first and foremost. So I want to, invest in something and partner in something that, I feel like I'm a part of, right?
Yep.
And then, a lot of times in this space, I believe, especially with athletes, we want our own, right? But I'm an athlete first, and I always got to keep the main thing. So being able to partner with something and somebody that has a great operator, a great brand, great co-founders, and even LaGoria as well, it just made it an easy transition for me to, just be a partner and not have to worry about, doing X, Y, and Z while I'm still trying to play basketball.
Absolutely.
So
that leads me to another question, talking about partnership. And you made a really important comment, you being able to do what you do on the court, but you have a partner who takes care of things off the court. And so all of us here are partners with someone or individuals. And so how important is partnership in the work that you do? That's a question for all of you. Clement, you want to start?
Yeah. Partnership is everything, right? Because we operate in this ecosystem. And so for me as the winemaker and owner of Fête Wine, we rely on our winemakers, our wine growers, the network downstream that none of you should have to worry about. But then we need partnerships in how we bring the brand to life and how we bring it to you. So that includes distributor networks and retailers and amazing activations like Stagwell Sport Beach. We're all part of this ecosystem, and we need trust and we need transparency, and we need a common and aligned goal and mission.
Yeah. And go ahead, Sophie.
Oh, no, I was going to say, listen, partnering with athletes is critical for us, right? And one of the key reasons it's critical is they create the biggest celebrations in culture and in sport. And that's exactly where our brands need to show up, where they need to be chosen, and where they need to develop rituals. On top of that, look at these guys. They're leading the trends of culture. Look at them styling up here. If we're not watching what they're doing, taking some tips and seeing what they're doing and getting alongside them and co-collaborating, we're not winning. And then the other big bonus, they generally come with a huge community of fans that our brands can get involved in behind. So, for us, it's like a no-brainer, right? And it's actually critical to developing our brands, having them chose, making them turn up distinctively and be chosen over competition.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That was amazing. Kyle, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to point to what you said too, and I just, obviously we're in the spirits and sports space, right? And I will say, we have just a genuine connection because, with sport, and Mello can talk about this too, is that we live for the camaraderie, right? And when you think about spirits, and Mello talks about this all the time, having a glass of wine, having good conversation, that's the same type of camaraderie that, I think it's like a yin and yang situation, so.
Absolutely. And Mello, for you, obviously we are business partners, so I know our relationship and how we build our business is quite unique. You recognized the power of your influence very early on. And so to Sophie's point, and having the access to that kind of power and influence, how have you used the vehicle of wine to enhance your storytelling?
I think storytelling is always has been a part of just the foundation of building a brand. You can't just all of a sudden say, hey, we want to start storytelling. I think the storytelling starts the minute you come up with that idea, or you come up with that product, or you come up with how to get this off the ground. Storytelling is key in everything. I think in our businesses, the storytelling aspect to me it gave the brand heart, right? It gave the brand a voice. I think the storytelling allowed us to tap into different parts of the world and talk about different stories and be able to connect different worlds through an art form that we can actually put together to go blend actual wine. So storytelling has always been at the forefront of everything we do.
Thank you for that. So this world of wine and spirits is so crowded. And so you might be wondering, why would we go into business in an area or in an industry that is so crowded? So my question to you is, what makes each of your brands so unique? And how does it cut through the noise?
I love that one. La Fête, we put it right in the name. La Fête is the party, right? And 25 years in the beverage alcohol industry, working for big global companies, working on big brands, I saw that there was a void and a gap. And today, I think these big brands are starting to address it, but there was a real space for someone new to come in and be the disruptor, to be the grain of sand in the industry and to just really force the conversation forward. Melo, you're doing an amazing job at it as well. And together we can drive that movement forward. So, for us, storytelling and bringing that message to life is really critical to what we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle.
I think we're all going to have the same answer of storytelling, so bear with us. But I would say for us, the same thing, Casa del Sol, it's the storytelling of Mexico and tequila. And, also, I think what's really, really unique about us is that, we have a lot of women that are fronting the brand, that are in front of the brand, own the brand. And there's no additives in our tequila, so I think that's important too.
That's a shot.
Critical.
By the way,
what is he talking about?
By the way, mine neither. Anyway, I'm going to say a slightly different answer and say that I think that what we do, and I'm going to talk about 1942, the original OG of nightlife, the iconic moment
Sophie,
of celebration. We create moments with 1942. So new rituals, and so I think it's about storytelling, but it's also about being in the moment where your brand can be consumed, where it can stand for something, and it can create moments that you capture and then put out there for further people to follow.
And I think you guys have done it, honestly, you guys have done a great job with, when you talk about culture and you talk about spirits and you talk about brands that connect with our culture, I will say 1942, and I'm not with 1942. I don't have a partnership with these guys or anything, but I just know the culture and what you guys created for our culture. You guys wasn't afraid to step out there and say, we want to jump into this culture. We want to lead this culture. You guys are the culture when it comes to that tequila and into sports and into hip hop, into music. You guys created that storytelling, and I just wanted to say, congratulations with that.
Thanks, Wayne.
And I'm not trying, we could talk offline about something else, but I really just wanted you to hear that, so you can know that where you guys stand at in this realm of quote unquote culture.
I got a question. I have a question for you, actually.
Oh, not a bad one.
It's not a bad one at all. So, Melo just said about just the culture aspect. How have you guys built that culture, 42, to get into the culture? How do you strike that?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things, and it was funny, we were talking about training. I don't train the same way you guys do, clearly. But, there's a couple of key ingredients. We've got no lack of data in our business to be able to be fed and look and analyze. I think you need to be externally curious. You need to be out in the world. You need to be looking at the way people are behaving, what they want from certain occasions, and you need to be thinking as brands about how to enhance that. So 1942, getting into nightlife culture was really about seeding, and when people became fans of the brand, committing to them, doubling down, not having a transactional contract, but following them. I mean, our recent work with Peggy Gou is an awesome example of that. Like, we've been working with Peggy Gou when she started working with us in Singapore, and now she's doing global programs all the way around the world and creating on the bottle. So it's a partnership, it's a co-collaboration, it's someone that loves your brand, and it's turning up at the moment where your brand has a right to win and enhancing the experience people have with it. Here's another cool example, like Don Julio Repo and the Popeyes partnership for the Super Bowl activation, where we went and did DJ Repo with the chicken sandwich. We did a limited edition menu. We got merch off it. That got resold. That wasn't our idea. We were listening and looking and seeing what people were doing with the brand. And we said, let's get into that. Makes sense for Super Bowl. So be curious, listen, and don't do shit that's not real.
Yeah.
Turn up and compliment stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, because authenticity, we use it a lot. I got to come up with another word other than authenticity.
Not real and not fake.
Genuine, yes. I mean, authenticity has been used too much. We agree? All right, so we know, and that was going into my next question. So, are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing with you. I never laugh at you. I'm laughing with you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so fans can spot a surface level collaboration from a mile away. And what does real involvement look like when it comes to building an authentic brand or partnership? Genuine partnership.
Yeah, I think a genuine partnership entails, again, the word is authenticity, right? It comes down to authenticity, right? How authentic both brands actually are, how serious both parties actually are when it comes to creating something special, creating a product, creating a moment, creating an experience. I think both brands have to be fully aligned with what both brands want to do and want to accomplish. I have to know what Don Julio wants to accomplish. Don Julio will have to know what I'm trying to accomplish. And now we can go and listen to everybody else to provide them something that we can give them a whole experience based off of the information that you keep talking about, the data that's out there. Because the data gonna tell you where to go and what to do, but you also gotta have some type of emotional connection to that actual consumer too. So hopefully that answered the question.
And I think, again, I'm going to say, like, a lot of chat about AI, but partnerships where people want to create experiences that are enhancing. Like, we're all consumers, right? Do you like what you're trying to serve up for other people? Does it interest you, or is it boring and dull? So creating enhancing experiences for the communities is critical.
So this question is for Kyle and Melo. I want to know, how difficult has it been for people to take you serious in business, and more specifically in the wine and spirit space?
That's a great question. I feel like as an athlete, a lot of times, and let's forget athletes. Let's talk about just like a celebrity, right? That's a celebrity. They slap something, their name on a bottle, and it's like, hey, look at this. I love wine. I love tequila. I love clothing. So naturally, you're stepping into an industry that people have worked years and years and years, to be where they're at. And same thing, vice versa for us. Like, we've worked countless years to get to the NBA. So if you don't have that type of knowledge, if you're really not in the weeds, if you're really not trying to educate yourself, nobody's really going to take you serious. If you can't talk the talk, walk the walk, then it's like, okay, this guy's just doing this for a money grab, So that's what I would say.
Melo?
Yeah, my experience, it went from being, he's another athlete.
Absolutely.
He's another one wants to do a tequila, or another one wants to do a beverage company, or another one wants to do a wine brand. And then it started transitioning into, he's really serious about this. And then he transitioned to, holy shit, he really makes some really good wine. And then he transitioned to, there's no more athlete questions no more. When it comes to what we're doing and what we're building, but we were able to walk that walk and show people like we're very serious about what we're actually doing. We're very serious about this whole process. We're very serious about what the people is actually saying what they're talking about and what they want and what they don't want. So for us, being able to pay attention to that allowed me to grow over I would say the last 4 or 5 years and be able to go from that athlete to an entrepreneur, to a person who's building brands and building businesses. So for me, that's the storytelling right there, right? The fact that you can go and take something from a sport, from around basketball, that got us around the world, to being able to transition that and translate that into other businesses and other products. It's an amazing story. So again, we talking about storytelling. You got to tell the whole journey and not just the beginning or the end.
No, thank you for that. And so for Clement and for Sophie, on the other side of that, have you had conversations with people or been challenged in the relationships that you have with celebrities and athletes as it relates to your business? And has that been a barrier to entry at times?
For Fête, it's really been a gateway. In fact, thanks to you, Asani, and Melo, when you guys were playing in the bubble, we had just launched Fête. And through our connections, we're able to treat you to a little bit of wine.
We had Dane on What's in Your Glass.
What's that?
We had Dane on What's in Your Glass. It was one of our very, first 5 episodes he was on.
That's right. And we were able to leverage a very difficult time for everyone in the world and a challenging time for you as players as well, and turn it into something special and interesting and memorable. And from that, I think very long-lasting relationships and friendships have continued to blossom and develop. Chris Paul, also discovered Fête with you, and he approached us a couple years ago to come be an equity partner on the business as well.
Sophie?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I go back, probably sound a little bit consistent, but I think, the best relationships are relationships. They're not transactional legal documents. The best relationships are with people who adore your brands. The best relationships and the best products and the best experiences come out when we kind of allow freedom in a framework and we respect the creativity and the community that sits behind the people we work with. I mean, I think about launching the little mini bottle of 1942, the 50 ml, on the Oscars. And, that's one of my proudest moments, right? But we've had a relationship with the Academy for 15 years, a relationship with Jimmy Kimmel for I don't know how many years. Coleman we met 10 years ago. Then we put media in and a whole thing around it. I mean, boom. It was amazing. So, but it wouldn't have happened if they weren't committed to long-term relationships.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point. That's one of the questions that Melo and I are asked a lot. And specifically for me, people ask me, how do you make decisions, or how do you start building strategy for the things that make sense for Melo? And one of the main things is long-term relationships. We are not transactional individuals. So brands who are listening, if you want to invest in the business and the brand of an athlete, that's the language, the investment, not the transaction, not the endorsement, but the investment in their business, their vision, and their brand.
And I mean, another obvious one is when you're going to work with talent like that, let it bring you the ideas.
Yes, listen.
Craft the experience around their ideas. Listen, don't be like, oh, yeah, there's a great year here. Here's what I would like you to do. Probably not going to be that interesting.
Absolutely. The best marketers are the ones who listen. Because and one of the other things I always say is business people are some of the best creatives out there. Yeah. And the reason is because we're solving problems, we're solving puzzles. And when you take a corporate structure, you take their corporate strategy and you match that with an athlete brand or business, that's the synergy. And how do you do that? That's the creativity. That is where the magic lies. So,
I'm sorry, but you make it truly go too, because now you make me feel like I'm a part of something and really value my opinion. Yep. So that makes everything super more organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Good point.
Yeah, Asani, I was going to add, we operate our business in equal amounts of instincts and insights, right? And if people had asked us when we launched Fête, why are we launching a rosé that isn't appealing to women in sundresses and flower walls, because that space is already taken, but there's a whole contingent. You're all in Cannes. Everyone here has probably been drinking rosé all day,
I did not wear
all week.
cotton, and I regret it.
But then you go home and you stop drinking rosé. Why? Because rosé brands in the States haven't been speaking to you in a way that's relevant or inviting or otherwise convincing when you're back home. But there's a real lifestyle here in the south of France around rosé. So we wanted to bring that to the States. And that was much more of instinct than it was insights, because there was no data at the time to show that we could have such a diverse consumer in the US.
Good point. To Kyle and Mello, it's so weird when they say Carmelo. I only call him that when I'm really trying to get
You don't
his
even have to
attention.
call me that. Just mellow it out. That's it.
Just Mello. Okay, Kyle and Mello. You're both building brands that go beyond just being a side hustle. And so how do you view these ventures as part of your legacy, not just your brand?
Yeah, I think when you talk about building brands, it's like moments come and go, products come and go, but legacies stay forever. So if you can build and have the idea of building or creating a legacy type of brand, then you're going to be cool with going through the journey to make sure that that brand become a legacy brand or legacy product. So you have to be cool with the ups and downs, the turnarounds, the industries going ups and down, the trends, the non-trends. You have to be cool with going through all of that and able to say, I created a legacy brand. There's a lot of brands that's out there. There's a lot of great products, but there's not many legacy brands that's out there. We probably can name a couple legacy brands that stand out off the top, and that's been going on for 60 and 70, 80 years, sometimes 100 years to become a legacy brand today. So it's been a long process, and I'm sure if you talk to those brands today who are legacy brands, they're gonna say this took a long time, and we actually still trying to figure it out where to go at next. So the legacy is a major part when it comes to building brands, not just as an athlete, but entrepreneurs that's out there. Like when you thinking like think legacy, because when you think legacy, that puts you into a certain realm to be able to operate and to be able to create.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he just said it. I feel like, I'm only 29 years old, so I don't really know what I'm even doing tomorrow half the time, right? Truly. So I don't really look at building my brand as a thing. I'm just like building my life.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a part of me. Like
I like that.
You know, drinking tequila is a part of me. You know, clothing is a part of me, right? And wherever that falls, it falls.
Yep.
You know? And for me, I try to keep, like for me, basketball is the most important thing, because there's not many things that are just going to make me hundreds of $millions outside of really basketball.
Right.
Truly. You know what I mean? So naturally, I just focus on doing things that are, once again, authentic to me and that I love to do.
Yeah.
And wherever that falls, I guess that's the word legacy,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not necessarily focused on a legacy. I'm in the present and, yeah.
I love that legacy point. I mean, if you think about Don Julio, it's over 80 years old. You think about Johnny Walker, it's 200 years. No, it's actually 265 years old. But, like, the reality is, what a huge responsibility to work on these brands, because they're not coming in and out. They've been around, and our job is to craft the future of them and be really responsible. And 1 foot in today, 1 foot in tomorrow. I love the fact you said I'm living life. Like, if we are actually out there experiencing and building, we can have a pretty great life.
Yeah, Sophie, to add to that, and having worked on so many of these storied 100, 200, 250-year-old brands myself, and to your point, we're stewards for a short period of time, right? But I would also add to your question, Asani, I don't know that any of the founders of these storied brands, whether it's Johnny Walker or Hennessy or Veuve Clicquot or any of those, I don't know that they set out 200 years ago to say, I'm going to create a legacy brand that's going to live on for 200 years. They were living their lives, right? They were doing their thing. They were solving the
Craft,
problem
passion.
of the moment. Yeah.
So this leads me to I want you to keep going. Tell us what's next for you in Fête.
So, yeah, it's, the beverage alcohol industry is in an interesting place right now, to say the least. Wine in particular has had some ups and downs over the last few years. And I feel like the old guard in the wine world has closed in on itself a bit and has become more protective of themselves and of their industry and of what they do, and afraid to embrace the change in the future that's coming. Spirits brands have done a much better job, and spirits companies, I think, have done a much better job of embracing that and meeting the consumers where they are and telling stories that consumers care about in how they amplify their message. And so we at La Fête, from day one, wanted to take that more spirit, lifestyle, cultural moment to tell our story and to bring it to life. It comes with a lot of challenges because we're pushing and fighting the status quo every day. As I mentioned earlier, people don't really see in the moment why we're doing what we're doing. And so we have to stay true to ourselves and just keep pushing and keep believing in ourselves more than anybody else will ever believe in us, and have that determined passion to keep pushing.
Great answer. Sophie, with Casamigos set to be the official margarita of the FIFA 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, World Cup, baby, here we come. No, super excited about it. We are in there, all in on tequila. You'll be mugs and mugs and mugs and lots of mugs all the way across the World Cup with Casamigos. And then 1942, we'll be there for the iconic moments of celebration. We'll be supporting the athletes, we'll be supporting the teams, and celebrating the winners. So look out for some really cool stuff coming. Rituals created, rituals joined, and lots of fun.
And Kyle, what's next for you?
About to get a coffee and work out. But other than that,
We
I
admire
will
that.
say just continue to build relationships. I think that's the most important thing because, like I said, I truly don't know what I want to do, you know, because that is a revolving door every single day, every single person you meet, every single, business that may be a success, might fail, you might change, right?
Yep.
So I think the most important thing is always, keeping doors open, establishing relationships, and, just moving it forward and educating myself.
One of the things that I love that Kyle has said several times is that he just doesn't know certain things. I don't know what I want to do next. I know what I'm doing now. I'm in the present. And I just want to share that is just such an amazing and incredible example of just being true and authentic to yourself. The I don't know statement throws people off all the time, and it has made people feel like they are less smart. You are actually more smart when you decide, I don't know what's next. That's okay. And I love that you said that, and that you are just being authentically himself. Freedom on Juneteenth.
Love that. That's the way to close right there.
Melo thinks I'm a Black Panther. It's fine.
No, we all Black Panthers at the end of the day. We all spirited like that. You know
Thank
what I mean? And that's why we're able to sit up here and talk about our brands and storytelling. They
Thank
did
you.
the same thing. They told stories. So, and they stood for something. So, yeah, I do think you're a Panther. At the end of the day. So I support that.
So you close us out. Any new ventures? I know the answer to this question.
I don't even know the answer to the question, but I think it's. I know what I want to do because I done been through what Kuz is going through right now. I done been through the journey to get to where I'm at right now, so I'm able to see a lot more throughout the world. I'm able to travel. I'm able to talk to people. I'm able to understand certain industries around the world, so it allows me to be comfortable and confident in any industry or with any product or building any brand that I'm doing. I like to have fun, everything I do, I like to have fun. I want to be out there on the yachts. I want to be, I want to hang out and have a good time. I want to actually sell a lifestyle. Like I want to sell what it's like being cool at the end of the day. I mean, we all want to be cool. Men and women want to be cool. For me, I think I want to tap into skincare, like men's health. Like I want a wellness. I want to tap into men's grooming. Like we don't groom the right way, men. We got to get our shit together. So we don't walk
Women
into.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
yes?
we don't.
I needed
we
to
don't
hear an
walk
applause
into,
from that, ladies.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
Yeah, but we don't. As a men, we don't walk into the Sephoras and to the Ultas and feel comfortable about buying skincare and shit like that. So. I think that is a cool way to kind of bring travel, leisure, community, conversations, wellness, mental health, right? Having conversations, create these retreats, create these experiences for people, which is why we're going to talk in the back.
Yeah,
all right?
excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, panelists. Thank you for all of you for showing up for us and listening to us. We hope that we gave you something of value that you can take with you. I will leave you with this thought. Every single person up here has worked tirelessly to earn their place where they are. The work is hard, but it can also be fun. So whatever it is that you are doing, I hope and pray that you get to have fun in doing the work that you love. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Asani.